This is KGW News at noon.
Again, we start this newscast with new details on the hostage situation and shooting in Salem involving Marion County Sheriff's deputies. We've learned 3 people have died, including an 11-year-old boy. This all happened around 12:30 yesterday afternoon at a home on Geneva Place Southeast in the Four Corners area of Salem. Oregon State Police say deputies stormed the house when they heard gunshots. They found 3 people dead from gunshot wounds, including the hostage suspect, 34-year-old Jose Jesus Lopez Tinoco. A woman was also shot and she's in the hospital. A 13-year-old boy was rescued and was not hurt. We don't know what led up to this hostage situation or what the relationship is between everybody in that house. Oregon State Police says one deputy did fire his gun when he rushed the house, but again, we don't know if those bullets actually hit anyone. We have a crew on the way to Salem right now, and we'll update you with any new information as we get it. In North Portland, police are also investigating a shooting, this one in the Kenton neighborhood. It happened early this morning in the area of North Victory Boulevard and North Force Avenue. Police haven't released any information yet about what exactly happened and if anyone was hurt. Now to Decision 2020, and a big night for the candidates with the first presidential debate set to go. It's happening, of course, between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden, and it's happening in Ohio. Topics like the pandemic, the Supreme Court vacancy, and new details about the president's taxes are expected to take center stage. NBC's Tracy Potts has a preview for us.
Here's the stage hosting the first face-off between President Trump and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden.
I am looking very forward to the debate.
But unlike Biden, the president says he's not drilling down on policies or thick briefing books. His practice for this debate largely here, being quizzed by reporters in the White House briefing room. Biden says he's doing his research here, reviewing the president's tweets.
I'm prepared to go out and make my case as to why I think he's failed.
Failed businesses, a decade of zero taxes, and years of mounting debt reported by the New York Times are sure to come up as President Trump takes the stage.
It's a national security issue. You could potentially have a sitting president who owes hundreds of millions of dollars. The American people are going to want to know who he owes that money to.
Both candidates trying to predict each other's strategy.
He's always very different when he comes out. So I have no idea what's coming out.
My guess is it's going to be just straight attack. They're going to be mostly personal. That's the only thing he knows how to do.
They'll be asked about their records, the Supreme Court, including the president's new nominee, coronavirus, the economy, race and urban violence, and the integrity of this election. Fox News is moderating this one. The debate starts tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern in Cleveland. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Again, 9 p.m. Eastern, that means 6 o'clock our time here. And here's our programming schedule on KGW this evening. So you can still watch KGW News KGW News at 4 and 5 p.m. That's followed, of course, by Nightly News with Lester Holt at 5:30. And then the debate coverage begins from 6 to 8 p.m. After that, stick around. We'll have The Story with Dan Haggerty at 9 p.m. Back to our local headlines this afternoon. There were confrontations overnight during the latest demonstrations in North Portland. Police say they declared an unlawful assembly once that protest became violent last night. They say one officer was punched in the face and was sent to the hospital. Police wound up arresting 24 people. Last night, we also saw something we hadn't seen before at Kenton Park. Police quickly moved in there, taking shields and signs away from people in the crowd. Again, we haven't seen that type of preemptive action taken by police before. Officers also pepper sprayed a few people in that crowd. Police tell us the crowd was throwing things at them, and they say some of the people they arrested were wearing press labels. Let's get to 3 things to know this afternoon about COVID-19. Number 1 is a grim milestone. Over 1 million people have died now from coronavirus worldwide. And health experts think that number is actually an undercount because of inconsistent reporting by some countries. On the average day, nearly 5,000 COVID deaths are reported worldwide. Number 2, there's a new rapid COVID-19 test on the market. It's a nasal swab that gives results in just 15 minutes. It can also be self-administered. President Trump says more than 150 million tests will be rolled out nationwide here in the next few weeks. Health experts, though, are still concerned about the accuracy of rapid tests. And number 3, Governor Kate Brown has extended Oregon's ban on residential evictions over non-payments. Under the ban, a renter cannot be kicked out simply because they aren't able to pay. The ban was set to expire this week, but again, it's now extended to December 31st. The governor cited both the pandemic and the wildfire devastation as reasons for her decision. Speaking of the wildfires, one of our top wildfire headlines this afternoon is that all evacuation orders are now lifted in Clackamas County. For some people, this means they can return home for the first time since evacuation orders first started 3 weeks ago. State and federal help is available, and you can get in-person assistance at a resource center that's been set up at the Molalla River School District Community Gym. Firefighters, meanwhile, continue to make progress containing the largest fires in Oregon right now. That includes the Riverside Fire there in Clackamas County. That one is now 37% contained. Yesterday, Governor Brown paid a visit to Clackamas County to see firsthand the damage from that fire. Maggie Vespa has more.
You see, areas that it's hard to tell what it was.
Guided by fire and emergency management officials, Oregon Governor Kate Brown toured fire-ravaged portions of Clackamas County today, viewing the damage from the ground and the air. So far, officials say more than 1 million acres have burned statewide.
What did you make of what you saw today?
It's absolutely heartbreaking, the amount of timber that we've lost. It could keep the mills going for the next 40 years.
We're also told nearly 2,300 homes have been destroyed. In fact, we were asked to be careful about showing buildings torched by fires because many homeowners aren't aware yet that their houses burned. It's a realization they'll face in the weeks ahead. This, as some worry, help is dwindling.
The response in a lot of ways is starting to ebb. We had tremendous resources come in from all over the country to help with the response to the fires. Now we have to look at how we recover and how hopefully we can mitigate future impacts from disasters like wildfires.
Very much appreciate you here.
Governor Brown's tour today lasted hours. She's taking similar ones across Oregon to give her a better idea of how to build a statewide recovery plan.
This is going to be a real challenge to recover from this extensive of a fire and then the other 3 small ones. But, we're Oregon, we're tough, we're resilient, and we can make it happen.
Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
Right now, we want to take a step outside, a live look by way of our Rose City Sky Camera. Blue skies on a Tuesday. Again, Rod, these are the final few days of September, but the weather definitely feels like midsummer.
And I think you have to assume this might be our final stretch of 80-degree weather.
Right.
We talked a couple days ago that a year ago, Drew, it was something like September 11th, somewhere in there, was Portland's final 80-degree day. And yet here we are projecting 80s into the first part of October. We do have a new player or a return player. Take a look at the visible satellite picture. It's behind me. All of this that looks like cloud cover, that is in fact wildfire smoke coming up from California. And from this visible satellite picture, let's take a look at Uquinta Bay from our live Newport camera. And what you see there, again, that is wildfire smoke. Remember, we talked about this on Sunrise, that this wildfire smoke from California would crawl up the Oregon coast today, and we expect to see some of this over the Willamette Valley tomorrow. Now, despite the haze, look at Newport going nuts in the temperature department, 77 degrees. We had some areas like Rockaway Beach at 87 yesterday. Here's that Rose City camera again. We'll add the temperature to it, 73, right where we thought we'd be at noon. Yesterday it was 85. Today we're thinking maybe a little bit warmer. I have us at 87 at 4 p.m. I will tell you, Drew, I checked. There is at least one unhealthy air quality report down in extreme southwestern Oregon. And with this haze coming up, there are new air quality concerns. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit as well.
All right, we look forward to that, Rod. We also have a story right now that we talked about this morning on the Sunrise Show, a story with a happy ending. A Vancouver teenager who went missing on Sunday while hiking with his family near Mount St. Helens has been found safe and sound. KGW's Brian Clerkley has more on this story.
Anthony Mancuso was found around 9:15 last night near Hummocks Trail just west of Coldwater Lake. Mancuso was hiking on the trail Sunday near the northwest side of the mountain. He got separated from his family when he went off to use the bathroom. Authorities say he had no phone or supplies with him at the time. Crews from multiple agencies searched for Mancuso for 2 days. Teams caught a break when they found his shoes just 100 feet from where he was last seen. They found him nearby. He was able to walk out with the searchers.
There was several teams. There were probably 20 individuals from 4 or 5 different teams with us at the time. They had moved down, and once we found him, they all came back up, and we kind of caravanned him out of there. Everybody watching him very carefully and watching his footing, but he was able to walk out on his own power, so we were pretty excited about that.
Rescue teams would like to thank the more than 100 people who helped with the search. In Portland, I'm Bryant Clerkley, KGW News.